Here in the metro, we've had sub-zero wind chills and what seemed like endless snow, but people in Nelson County had extra sleet on top of that. The emergency management director says reaching some houses is more challenging than the 1994 winter storm. WHS 11's Conrad Deluche and Connie Offit show us some of those issues.
The temperature is still below freezing here in Nelson County, so this snow and ice that you see, it's not going away just yet. And first responders have been dealing with this weather one way or the other since even before the winter storm, since last Wednesday. That first blast of snow covered roads across Kentuckiana, and it sent Nelson County Fire and Rescue into action.
The north end of the district, basically towards Mount Washington, we had an elderly female overturned in a creek.
They were able to rescue her, but earlier that same day, Chief Neil Pyle was on a different run when he says he was hit by a truck.
A sheriff's officer got on the radio quick and got assistance and got me on to the hospital, and wound up just being minor, so that was very lucky.
On Thursday, the weather was a factor in two different crashes. A semi slammed into a northeast Nelson County fire engine that was working an accident.
While the Northeast Nelson run was going on, they responded to New Haven Road, where a big section of ice flew off a box truck and went through the windshield of the vehicle and hit the female, occupant.
The sheriff says the injuries suffered are considered to be non-life threatening.
She was very, very lucky that she didn't wreck worse or hit someone else. Just extremely dangerous.
A danger that Emergency Management Director Brad Metcalf says is avoidable if drivers warmed up their cars a few minutes longer and used an ice scraper.
Because as the inside of the cab warms up, it's going to loosen that ice up and it's going to slide off and hurt someone.
In 1 week, the county has poured more than 600 tons of salt on the roads, but Metcalf says they're using another tool, an axe, to make sure they reach some people.
And that's on people's doorsteps, up against their houses. We've had to actually gain entry into several people's homes by they couldn't even open their front doors.
He says it's a good reminder to make sure you're looking after neighbors because the freeze is expected to continue for another few days. In Nelson County, Conrad Deluche, WHAS 11 on your side.
And Metcalf says trash pickup was suspended this week, so some solid waste crews have worked to remove some of the bigger chunks of ice from streets and sidewalks.